When you hit start and type in OneDrive, what do you see? Do you see an app?
Hold on a second. Yeah, it's an app, but it looks like a folder. Now hold on.
And
I'm getting SharePoint Workspace is asking for permissions,
uh-huh.
so it might be what I need to do. This ain't the time. This is not the time. Tomorrow's not the place.
It's the perfect time when we're trying to record a podcast. We should be giving them
out
a peek
sensitive
behind the curtain
information.
into how we organize and mismanage our admin stuff.
Yeah, let's not do it. By the way, it's asking for my social security number. I'm gonna go ahead and give that right now over there.
Three, two, one. Backlog.
One, two, three.
3, 2, 1. 1, 2,
3, 2, 1. Social.
I took a spring off of my mic boom arm and I'm
I can hear it.
Do you do that a lot? I'd love doing that.
We're doing what?
Taking the springs off.
No, I haven't taken them off.
I might have some undiagnosed problems then.
I made that grommet for my mic arm that I showed you, and it's a little wobbly. Not gonna lie, I think the weight of it is kind of pulling at it.
It's heavy, yeah.
So
I want to make my own thing with my capabilities, and we could compare how they turn out.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna redesign it again, but I'm gonna do basically what I have now, but I'm going to thread. I'm going to make it longer, thread the outside, and then make a adjoining threaded nut or bolt rather to go around the outside and hold it to my desk. So I'll be able to actually tighten it in place.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And 3D printing like threads, no matter how big they are, can be challenging, but it'll be a good practice to work those muscles in the sense of like trying to design it right and make sure my printer's formatted right.
Yeah, it's pretty, dude. I'm tempted to get us a cheap 3D printer just for those small things.
I mean, if I can unclog the one I have, do you want it?
I mean, if you're gonna throw it away,
it's just been unplugged and pushed off to the side. I was gonna just use it for parts because right now it's just clogged. I just need to unclog it.
Can you do that by heating up the part that's got?
Yeah, I have to heat it up, and then I have this special tool that unclogs the inside of it. I may have to change out the Bowden tube and everything, but is that the thing we had talked about last episode? Last call?
I really want one of those fully filled in because I have come to realize in the last couple of weeks, it is essential for the way that I sit at my desk to have that low profile phone stand in that position. Otherwise, I'm using a charging stand for my phone, which I don't like doing. If I just wake up and get up and I have to get on my computer, I don't want to immediately put my phone on a charging stand.
Does it fold or
it doesn't? It's just solid like that, and I love it. Do you have gold filament? Doesn't matter what.
Yes, I do actually.
Ooh, daddy!
I'll make whatever color you want, baby boy.
Baby boy.
Would you want it to fold?
No, because it stays on my desk. It never moves. And this one folded, and it turned out very bad.
Well, there's a lot of remixes, and I wonder if anybody put like a hinge in it so you could like prop it up.
Oh wow, there are some cool remixes.
I was thinking about doing one, like remixing it a little bit, but putting. Oh, here we go. Basically, doing this. All they did was add a wedge.
That might be cool.
Yeah, so it won't affect anything that your phone is doing. It just makes it so you won't immediately be able to snap it.
Yeah, I like
also that. Depending on how you print it, it can impact the strength. So I was going to print it on its side, and the strength. So how the layer lines would basically strengthen it that way. If you look really really close. are the layer lines.
It was printed in the position that it sits, I can tell.
Yeah, that's also part of your problem. So that joint become unnecessarily weak.
If I made that out of wood, that would be a no-no because that's essentially with the grain direction of the wood, which you could snap.
Exactly.
Even
Yeah.
the hardest wood
What's
would
the
snap.
plastic grain direction? So here, I'll download this as well, but I might make another.
Well, there is. I mean, their 3D prints do have a grain direction, though. Kind
Yeah,
of.
pretty much. Yeah,
You
that's
could,
the equivalent of it. Yeah.
yeah, you could remix that. I mean, you don't need to, but if honestly, the remixed one where it's reinforced, that one could just go the whole length of it. And it
Ooh,
would be fine.
ooh, I'm gonna remix it, and I know what I'm doing, but I'm not gonna tell you.
All right. Let me ask you a question. Can you 3D print, take our logo and then 3D print that? Like, is there a way to clip the image and then put it as like an indentation on things that are 3D printed?
I remember when I mentioned derealization the other day.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to do.
Is
Like exactly what I was going to do.
I understand that we're linked like from childbirth, but we're linked by the strand. But I feel like we have like there was one time where we had like an idea for a change on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, I have an idea. And you were like, so do I. And I was just like, I think they're the same idea.
Yep.
And it was when we structured it differently to where we didn't do the 2 episodes in one thing.
Yeah, and it's I think because we both felt like, hey, this is I think in that particular scenario, it was like you were saying that I was struggling with it,
Yeah.
and it just made sense.
Yeah. You felt the struggle. I interpreted it.
So basically, I was going to do this, but just that's what I saw, and I was like, oh, let me do this, but with our logo.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So cool.
Wow.
That'll be my next venture.
Who still uses
So,
HTC phones? Oh,
well,
2019.
I do want to say, welcome back to 321 Backlog, the podcast where we play and discuss games from our backlog.
I'm James, and I'm joined by my good friend Alec, the guy
Yeah,
who can grow a 4-foot beard in 26 minutes.
from since the last episode, I think I'm up to about 4.25 inch.
4.25. This is not a beard measuring contest, boys.
So
I think I have rheumatoid arthritis. Fucking record scratch.
so I think today we're not actually talking about a video game, which is
It's gonna come up.
interesting. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So the purpose of today and this episode, this very special episode, and we're not interrupting the schedule that you guys have gotten used to. It's still next Monday's episode is still going to come out.
This is
But we
bonus
were just going to
content for
do
you.
we were just going to do like a little check-in
Yeah.
and see how the podcast is going, how our backlogs are looking, what's going on with the podcast, what are we working towards, and anything we got in the pipeline. Just kind of take a beat and kind of just touch base.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have
That's the highest we can count.
we've actually we've played and discussed and recorded 11 games. We were going to try and do it on right after episode 10, but we were able to schedule it, and it got a little weird. But we've
What
done
a
11.
fucking mess. Can we talk about it?
We can.
Okay.
We 11 episodes, or sorry, 11 games, but 13 episodes.
Yeah. We tried to, so we're just wanting to do an update for this one, but we originally tried to do it while playing Barbecue Simulator for 4th of July.
Oh my lord.
We had never played it before, but it was co-op, and we were honestly forgot what was going on. I was so and this was also, we were a little more shy about cussing back then. So everything I was trying to basically censor myself a little bit. It was very difficult to stay focused.
Oh my goodness. I mean, even if we weren't censoring ourselves, I think I was just having a hard time just
making a fucking cheeseburger.
Just reading off, the questions and prompts I had to shoot, shoot your way while I'm trying to figure out how to please this like moody teenager at a really
It was
low
an
poly
anime
picnic
girl or
table.
something, right?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was so confusing and chaotic.
Yeah, man. In retrospect, I think if we had somebody to read the questions off to us, that like if we
Yeah.
had a predetermined, and then we tried to answer them, maybe video footage at the time too, so people could understand what was wrong with us.
Jamie, get in here.
Yeah,
You know.
come on.
Well, hopefully that sounded like it was far away.
It was, yeah, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Do you ever watch? I think it's Quick Bits or something like that. It's one of Linus Tech Tips channels where they just give a little bit of tech news, but they have a guy that's clearly very far away from the microphone that just yells out quips about things. I don't know. That's what we need.
It's so
right there.
good. That's so good.
So you want to? I mean, how's the podcast going from your perspective?
Yeah.
You have a lot more experience with just generally running a business and stuff as it is. Like, how do you feel our fluidity and everything's going? Give me the break.
You know, I'm really good at running a business poorly. So no,
Dude, I'm really bad at running it bad.
No,
Can't even structure a sentence.
From a podcast perspective, I think it's going pretty good based on I'd say pretty good in the genre and discussion type that we're kind of trying to fit in, right? I listen to a couple of the other podcasts out there, and I've listened to a couple of them for a little bit now.
Yeah.
When we started talking about doing this and all that, I was doing like market research and like what are other people doing? What kind of games are they talking about? What's their flow for the episode and all that. So it was more trying to use that for inspiration and see what would work best for us. And I think we're slowly getting into a really good flow. I think we take a little bit too long to announce who the hell we are, but other than that, I think it's going pretty good. You know?
Yeah. Just to speak to that, I mean, I don't know if there's ever really a good time to announce who we are. I think that's the least important part about the entire thing.
Well, you know, if somebody who's getting to the show first, so we might want to say, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're here to do. But if we're sitting there talking about, what was one of our earlier bits, like when we start talking about how our cottage cheese is, and then don't talk about a video game for the first 10 minutes, it's like, all right, we might want to give them a peek behind this ridiculous conversation.
I mean, have you eaten cottage cheese since then? This is
absolutely
important.
not.
Oh,
I have
man. Not. Did I just buy a game while we were having this discussion? Did I just add a new game to our backlog?
Oh so that's what I was going to ask this later, but how many games have you taken off your backlog versus how many you've added since we started this podcast?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not doing a good job here, but I think a lot of these games have come off of your backlog. I think we've both been excited to play a lot of the games that were on your backlog, but I can probably come up with. I literally just bought Bramble the Mountain King or whatever while we were having this discussion because it's on sale on Steam.
Oh,
yeah, man, it looks good. Yeah, it's kind of it's a heavy story game, I think, and like walking sim type of thing. But it was 40% off, and it was on my wish list, so I just grabbed it out.
Well, that's good because I'm pretty sure I was going to buy that. So
don't do it. We got to talk about this. Yeah. So that's great. How many games have I added?
I mean, I don't know the number, but you've added a bunch. Because you'll send me like, I think on like 3 or 4 separate occasions in the last couple of weeks, you've sent me like 100% off discount codes for stuff.
Yeah, so I follow a couple of YouTube channels, and I also have notifications on Google just for things being free on different like message boards and forums and stuff like that. So I always try to get things when they're free. But then there's also, the big summer sale. I didn't buy anything during the summer sale, which is kind of funny. But I don't know, man. This is one of our hobbies, and it's easy to acquire things. So I wanted to get more
Sometimes
games.
Too easy.
It is too easy. I mean, there needs like the fact that card information can be saved is tough. When did we officially start? Do you know like the first episode?
I know.
April.
Okay, so let's go back here. Where is it? Oh, I took it off.
Dude, this is such a.
Here it is. We recorded our first episode April 27th.
April 27th. So let me see which games I've bought since then.
Was it April? Hold on, was it April or was it March? Why did I not format this properly? Yeah, it was in April. It was in April.
Okay.
This episode should be coming out the end of September 2023 for when we're talking right now.
I have bought I on Steam since this occurred. All of these are on sale, probably. 14 games.
Good lord, dude.
How many have I taken off my backlog? That was the original stupid question you asked me.
That would be a yes. Let's see. Well, just from yours, one.
The answer is 5.
Yeah, because we're about 50% on game
Yeah.
selection.
Officially, I've knocked 5 games off and I've bought 14. That's
Wow.
good though. I don't want to hear any shit because this is
A lot of
content
those
for
have
you
been-
guys, you
Yeah, a lot of
filthy
those have been free
listeners. No,
You
those
know.
were the ones that I paid money for,
though.
Alec.
It doesn't count the ones that totaled to zero after.
That's
discount?
just looking at the receipt section of my Steam purchase history.
Oh, Jesus.
I've bought games for you, even, it looks like. I've sent a game to my wife, even. I've returned a game that I hated. It was terrible. Yeah, there's a lot. I've added a lot to it. And that's not even counting, I think, every single week on Epic, we get probably at least one free game. Every once in a while, I don't get it. And then, like you said, I'll get the codes for free stuff.
Yeah, the last couple months, Epic has been 2 games every week, and I think today's I'm not really. I don't think either of them are looking like I want to, but the rest of them, I think I've downloaded, not downloaded, but I've added them to my library. I think about probably 10 games
Yeah.
from Epic in the last couple of weeks. So if it's $0, I'll typically grab it. The
Yeah.
only game I've paid for was Diablo and Little Nightmares 2, which we're I think we're planning on messing with that recording later, but I've at least got it prepped and ready to go.
Yeah, I want to say, I think I got Little Nightmares for free originally, the first one.
They had some bundles a while
Yeah.
back that I remember. I just don't think I grabbed it. I think it was on Game Pass a while ago as well.
Man, I put some money into shark cards or whatever from GTA back when it came out.
Oh man,
That's pretty pathetic.
dude, have they started making a GTA 6 yet?
I think so.
Oh man, I mean they're gonna
They-
release like the PlayStation 7 and still release GTA 5 on it. So
How much money do you think Rockstar makes off that game still?
a lot. It's got to be a lot. You
Dude,
kidding me?
in the last 12 months in 2021, they made around $911 million in the
Off
year
of
of 2021.
off of that one game, or just
Off
that's
of that
their,
one game. Yeah.
That's insane, dude. That's insane. I've never
It's-
bought it. I actually got that as a free game on Epic.
So that's the thing, though. They're not making money by selling the game. They're making money by selling currency in the game because there's so much
Oh,
drive to do all that.
I got you, man.
Hmm.
Gotta love the hustle. If people are gonna buy it, great. You know,
It's crazy, too, because there's still, I think it's a relatively accessible game for cheating, like hacking and stuff, because I've seen tons of people hacking it when we used to play it online.
right?
So I don't think just hacking money in a game would be that hard, but they're still making millions, almost $1
That's
billion
wild.
a year in that year. And that
So,
it's
yeah,
been out for so long.
no wonder they're not wanting to have everybody reset.
Yeah, and
'Cause you're
people
gonna
would probably be
essentially start
resistant
from-
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I saw when I saw it released for like the Series S or Series X and S and the PS5 when they did Grand Theft Auto 5, and when they re-released it, I saw like reaction videos where like on YouTube where they didn't know that it was just them re-releasing 5. They thought maybe it was going to be 6, and just the look of disappointment on some of these YouTubers' faces was priceless.
Did you ever see the announcement video from Square Enix?
Mm-mm.
when they did Final Fantasy VII. They were like, everybody's been
Oh, for the
asking for
for the
the
remaster.
yeah, well, everyone's been asking for the remake or whatever for so long. This
Hmm.
is years ago, but
Yeah.
yeah, everyone had been asking for Final Fantasy VII to be remade from the ground up for so long, and they made this announcement like it was going to be a brand new game coming out completely made. They're like your favorite game, like you've never seen it before, and it was like a PC remaster, and they got like so much shit for it during the performance or whatever during the the what is the term for that
The like
presentation
the
the
yeah.
presentation that's when they were like, oh, we got to remake this game, and that's when they immediately, like, they were like within a week they were like, here's a little trailer we put together. I
Isn't
didn't think they would actually do it.
I feel like I've heard that one. It went from like, I don't know, 10, maybe 10 sub 10 hour game to like triple the length. Like, didn't they beef it up a lot?
They added some content to the story and kind
Yeah.
of made it longer, but it's always been a long game. Final Fantasy VII was a 3 disc game on the PlayStation.
Holy shit. I
Yeah,
did not know that. I got into Final Fantasy way too late.
it's an RPG.
I
I mean, you're familiar with the RPG
Yeah.
turn-based games,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I started playing on Final Fantasy 10. Played 10, 10 2, and that was it.
those, yeah, 10 was
Never
pretty
played
good.
any other ones. Yeah. I
A
never
lot of
finished
people
10, but I
treat 10
finished
as
10
like
too.
the end of an era for that
Oh, really?
series. Yeah, just because it kind of went past turn-based after that.
Yeah, it was like turn-based enhanced. It like they started adding, I don't know, they just to me it seemed like it was a good enhancement, but
Yeah, well, I think it had a pretty big following for the specific turn-based Japanese style whatever
yeah.
game, and then they started making it more of an action game, kind of like Devil May Cry or whatever, but
Mhm.
with RPG elements, and people didn't.
Gotcha.
I think people are more receptive of it now. I think the most recent Final Fantasy game did really well,
Yeah.
so we're adding games. Yeah, we're adding games very quickly. It's a problem.
Coming back to the games, is there a game in particular that you're like excited to get to play and then discuss for the podcast that we haven't gotten to yet?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked God of War. I really want to play God of War 2022, Ragnarok or whatever,
Yeah.
but I want to get more time in between playing it and space it out a little bit. And also, I guess there's three. Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I loved Final Fantasy VII back then.
Right.
And then anything that's going to be co-op, I'm really looking forward to, because I
Yeah, I'd
I
like to
like
do a
playing
co-op
games
game.
socially, and I think it'd be cool to discuss it while we're playing it, kind of thing too.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Diablo was that. It was a co-op experience, but we didn't get the same experience. And I think it'd be cool
Right,
to really
right.
play a co-op game.
No, I agree because I definitely want to play something, do something co-op that we can kind of touch base on based on what we both experience at the same time.
Yeah. What about you?
See, this one's hard because, and I said this early on, I kind of came at I never bought games if I couldn't one afford them or if I wasn't realistically going to be able to play it. So my backlog for this podcast is kind of lucked out in my case to be more of a wish list because it's like, oh, either I wanted to play it and I'm now going to go buy it because I can, so we can put it on the backlog and discuss it. So I have a lot that I've now been exposed to or been remembering and oof, I think I'm gonna say like my top three.
Yeah, I gave you three. Well, I gave you two
Yeah.
in a concept. So
So I think I'm not gonna make it official, but I definitely want to do Ragnarok as well. But that's not gonna be my thing because I
yeah,
didn't know
don't
about.
copy me.
I want to play. I want to get into the Star Wars games. I did Battlefield a lot back in the day, like the shooting ones, where it was
I've
just
never
like
even considered a Star
yeah.
Wars game.
But the ones where you're more from like the Fallen Order or the Force Unleashed, and it's not because it's like Star Wars IP like that. Like I like Star Wars. I'm not a super fan or anything, but I've seen some of the gameplay, and it looks interesting, and I want to like dive into it.
Okay.
And I'd pick any of those. So I do like the Fallen Order ones with I forget his name, but the actor from the Fallen Order. I like. I think I'd probably like those more. But I remember seeing stuff from the Force Unleashed
Mm-hmm.
line that looked really really cool. So I want to give those a go.
Troy Bateman Baker.
Was he in that?
No, I don't think so.
No. um, I to go back a couple of years because I never bought it for the specific reason of not having a computer that could handle it. Could you guess which one I'm going to say? If there's a
No.
game that historically couldn't be run very well on most average gaming PCs,
Crisis?
Crisis.
Oh, dude, that would be cool because that's a pretty
I've
short game,
never,
and it's
yeah,
like,
I've never played Crisis. I saw you play it for a little bit, and then we like would go outside and into the sunlight, but I was never able to play it myself because my rig couldn't do it. And the Uncharted series, again, I say it so many fucking times. I was an Xbox kid, so
oh
all these
yeah.
PlayStation exclusives I did not do. So the Uncharted series, I really wanted to take a look at. So very looking forward to those. Those are more series things, but the games within them, I'll probably end up playing all of them at some point. So those are the ones I'm looking forward to the most.
Now, if you play a game like that, I know we haven't done this historically, but would you ever have interest in playing them and doing like a series of episodes where we like this might be someone's favorite thing or the worst nightmare, but you play Uncharted 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you eat those are the consecutive episodes? Like, is that, or would you rather space them out a little bit?
Um, I don't know. I understand why we want to separate Ragnarok from 2018 because when at the end of 2018 God of War, we're like we're so strong and we have all this stuff at our disposal. I think for you and a little bit for me, the worry is you're going to basically start back from zero
And it's
and
not
kind
going
of
to
have
feel
to
good.
like it's not going to feel the same as like a progression. It's going to be like
Yeah.
we took so long to progress and now we're back to square one and then we take so long to progress and then whatever their next iteration will be.
Yeah.
So but with a game like the Uncharted series, I've always seen it as like the male version of Tomb Raider. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's kind of how I've seen it. Is like the whoever that the Drake something, he's like the male Laura Croft, right? So that's how I've always kind of taken it
Yeah.
or assumed it was like. I think those might work a little better doing a series, but I wouldn't. I'd be open to it. We've already done a multi-episode discussion. I'm sure what will end up being our most favorite set of episodes, the Death Stranding line. It was 2 episodes for that one game, so I could see doing consecutive episodes.
Okay. All right. Well, that would be cool. I'm every one of those games I'll approve of. I'll give you my support
I've
on
got, I've
that.
got I've got your blessing.
Yeah, some of those might be kind of harder to get a hold of because they're not PC games. Like I think some of the Uncharted games are console locked in a way, so it's going to
Right.
be a little bit of effort, but we'll figure it out. I mean,
I've got a PS2 sitting. It's not plugged in, but I've got a PS2. I
weren't
don't know
they
if it's on.
PS3?
Probably.
I think they were PS3.
Uh,
Yep, that's correct. So,
uh,
but there might have been like a re-release of it on PlayStation 4 or something.
gotcha. Yeah, when I made my initial backlog list or my wish log list, I
Backlog wish, back
I
wish
didn't
log.
I didn't really look into what platforms they were on or where they were available. I was just like, this is the game I want to play. And then once we get to it, I'll figure out how we can play it. Do we need to look at emulation? Do we need to go buy older consoles? Like I'm not trying to spend a ton of money, but I'm enjoying the thought of like, okay, I'm setting aside time to specifically do this hobby. I can spend some money for that hobby, right? So that's
Right.
that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm not going to go out and buy a PS3 right now, but if it comes to where we have a handful of games that might be beneficial to play on a PS3, I might.
Well,
So
lucky for you, Uncharted: The
You
Nathan
you
Drake
just found
Collection.
one in the trash.
Did we ever talk about that on recording?
Yeah, we did
Okay.
on the God of War episode.
And fortunately, I in the trash, I also just found Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection, a compilation of Uncharted series' first 3 games remastered for PlayStation 4. Found it in
Perfect.
my trash. So
Perfect.
that's an option. We can play that. That'll be good because that we both have a PlayStation 4
Yeah.
and we can just dig in on it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's out
So
there.
that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
I might even
Um,
own that already, to be honest, because I own too many games.
and I think Uncharted is one where they've got like side games where it doesn't follow Nathan Drake, but it follows like some other side characters. I don't know much about it. So
Yeah, probably. But if it's on like a cell phone, count me out, dude.
no, it plays the same. It's just following a different set of characters.
If it's
But
on
it would be.
PSP, count me out, dude.
Did you ever have a PSP?
Never did.
Or no,
No,
was it PSP or a Vita, or were those the same thing?
I think PlayStation Portable was the first iteration, and then the Vita
That's
was
right.
the
That's right.
upgrade. There's some pretty cool stuff to be had there, but I never did own one. They're quite emulatable, I believe, if somebody was
Ah.
going to be an illegal scumbag. But
I think the like any handheld is what gets emulated first.
yeah, well, they're usually low power and I think a little bit easier, maybe. I don't know. But I do agree. It
Right.
seems like handhelds get emulated pretty quickly. But they're
Yeah.
always lower power too. Like look at like the DS, 3DS or whatever. Like
Mhm.
it's a very simple thing.
Oh, and speaking of DS specifically, I think I've seen people setting up and programming the games to when like doing emulation on the Steam Deck
Yeah.
to use like the trackpads and stuff and splitting that screen on your Steam Deck to play those old like DS and 3DS games where it had like two screens.
Yeah. You can also have it where I remember I set up emulation for games I own. I swear to
Mhm.
God. There are I mapped a button. I think it was like the back buttons to switch between the bottom screen and the top screen.
Oh,
Also,
cool.
it's all touchscreen too. So,
Yeah, yeah.
that's another thing that was pretty nice about it. It works really well, but it also doesn't work great because it's kind of a weird, it's good enough, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's because there are some games that, oh, excuse me. Like maybe some Pokemon games, for example, that I used to play a lot on like Game Boys. If they had like a 3DS version or an iteration of the game, like those Pokemon dungeons I had never heard of before.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those need two screens, but if there's any in that genre or IP, for example, that do, I would definitely want to try and find them and play them again because I hadn't played them before.
The dungeon games,
So,
I have one of them on my backlog. I'd like to try and play
oh, right on. Oh, yeah. Let's
for
get to
Nintendo
that.
DS. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like for that one, if we wanted to try and emulate and do it above board and like get those, that would be one of those things where I'd like try to seek out some of those older consoles and
Yeah.
try to like do that. But I would love to revisit some of those older handhelds. That'd be amazing. That'd be
Do
so
you
fun.
have I'm like very fond of handhelds too, but you don't have to give any specifics away at all. But do you know of any old school video game stores around you at all that are like reliable?
I know there's every time I say I'm just gonna like channel Theo Vaughn. There's in I'm in the Jacksonville, Florida area, the
Yeah.
greater Jacksonville area. There was I don't even know if it's still open. There was a Gorilla Games, I think it was.
Oh man, I haven't
Um,
heard that name in years.
yeah, there. I mean, we have a handful of Game Stops, but that they're fucking
They don't
everywhere.
count really.
Yeah. I think there was one that maybe had retro in the name.
Okay.
I think there are some, but I haven't gone and looked, to be honest with you.
There's a couple in this within an hour of me in
Oh
any
yeah.
direction. A couple, one of them is very, very good, but there aren't too many. They're hard, man. They're hard to
Yeah.
I feel like they're difficult
I'd
to be
probably do eBay.
profitable.
Yeah.
eBay is, yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like,
It's hit or miss, but
do you want to look for something very, very local, or do you want to be able to look everywhere and maybe pay a little more, maybe pay less? It's
right.
tough, man. eBay is
I mean,
good for that.
I I'd probably if I had too much trouble finding something locally, I'd probably just eBay it or find an online retailer in some capacity.
Yeah. A lot of these like handhelds, since the DS thing just shut down, the marketplace or whatever
Yeah,
shut down, a lot of these kinds of things are now going up in price. So like
true, true.
why is this so expensive? I'm looking at one of the handhelds that, oh, it's factory sealed. Okay, that makes sense. Some of the like I have some of the old consoles I have, I paid like $20 for them, and they're listed for like $100+, which is
Yeah,
really cool to
it's
see that.
crazy. Have you
Yeah,
seen some of those like limited edition GameCube? So like all the different colors and stuff that they would have.
I don't
It
think I
just
have,
it's
but
insane how expensive those get. So, but I'm talking about broad strokes, trying to get things
yeah,
just to where it functions. Um, but have you ever thought about? I think I asked you this early days in the podcast, maybe even offline. Have you looked at all at like VR or had any interest in those?
I just want to say I googled it and found it. My current 3DS is listed at $400 on eBay with the
That's
box.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'd probably be selling that like now. But
It is a limited edition one. It looks like a Game Boy controller, and then the box that it came
oh
in looks like an original Nintendo console, like the box it came in.
yeah,
So
that's wild.
VR, I don't really care, man. I
No,
don't know if I'm too old for it. I think younger people really like it, but I don't really have any interest in it. You do, right?
at the price point it currently is at, no.
Okay.
I would love to like go to someone's house and try it, but I can't drop the money that you need for those right now. Once it comes down, definitely. I would love to see what all the hype is about and really see what it is. I think it has a lot of applications once the tech gets there, because like right now you're kind of stepping from what I've seen online and people reviewing stuff. If you were to equate it to like what we're playing now on like PlayStation and Xbox in like the console race and all that, like VR's back like in the days of like Super Nintendo, if you were to like put it on the timeline. So it's kind of, as far as like the quality and what you're seeing now, if I'm wrong, please someone give me some info so I can look at it. um but I think when you're playing these games, it's kind of like lower graphic quality and stuff like that because it's trying to do everything else that those systems
Yeah.
handle.
Yeah.
But I am interested once that price point comes down. Once we can get like close to like, I don't know, $500, maybe I'll look into it. But right now I'm seeing like just way too much.
The VR thing that interests me the most is being able to VR go to places in the world that I don't think I'll ever be able to go to or see.
Right, that'd be kind
Like
of cool.
VR
So
tours kind of thing.
less of a game, but more of just like an experience.
Yeah, I feel like that would be cool. Like, in the field that I work, like I think there's people that would really appreciate being able to go places like at the end of their life or whatever that they've
Oh,
never
for
got to
sure.
see.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't know, that might be kind of neat. I don't know. I think there's I don't know, there's just cool experiences with it. But in general, man, games, I just can't.
I think I think the right game can
Yeah, we
make a
haven't,
big impact, right?
I don't
So I
think
think
we've really gotten to there yet.
VR, like cool, you can use lightsabers and do like the little dancing music new version of Dance Dance Revolution with sabers. Like that's cool and all, but like I think where VR can really flourish are things like putting you in the seat, the driver's seat of like a NASCAR race or something, right? Like so you can kind of like live in that space. I think
Well, that would
that's
be
where it
cool.
could be
Yeah.
really really cool. Because you've seen, I'm sure you've seen these gaming rigs of like they've got the steering wheel and all the big stuff, all the big screens. They're making all that stuff, so it feels like they're in that seat.
Yeah.
But if they
That
could
would,
take it one
VR would
more
go well with
step, where
that.
yeah, like that kind of thing, I think is where VR is going to shine the most
Yeah.
in the gaming space.
Okay, again, this is why I like having discussions because that is valid. What the
I don't
fuck
even
are we
know.
talking about?
So I do, uh, coming back to like what this whole episode's about, which is just taking a beat from the game discussions every other week and really checking in with each other from like a not just checking in with you and I, but checking in with the audience and seeing how things are going. So we wanted to we do a really poor job in the moment during the recording for these episodes because we our schedule can be pretty crazy sometimes. You just got off of a pretty ridiculous week yourself. But touching base and
Yes.
kind of saying like, hey, where we are on the internet, where you can find us, it's pretty consistent with the script we have for like our outro. But we have our Gmail account, 321backlog at gmail.com. On pretty much any platform, if you just look up 321 backlog, one word, no space, you can find us on Twitter or whatever the heck their name is now, Instagram. What else are we on? We're on TikTok. We've got a YouTube
Instagram.
channel. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn, for goodness sake.
We're on all the
Every
podcast
podcast platform.
services.
If we're not on there, let us know.
If we're not on there, listen to
Listen,
something
listen, to,
else. You're
listen to
probably
Apple.
listening to something really niche.
uh,
Yeah.
no, so we're yeah, but again, 321 backlog. That's where you can find us on any platform that is currently relevant in 2023. That's where we are. So please, let us know what's going right. Let us know what's going wrong. If you're like, hey,
Yeah. I really want some
we need some
criticism.
feedback. We're
Yeah.
still early days. We've only put out the 12 episodes so far. That's really not a lot compared to some of the episodes you see. We can't quite ramp up the production on these just yet, but we would love to. So get in
Yeah.
there. We're looking at things for the future. We want to expand our Patreon. We do have a Patreon. We're thinking about getting into like showing what our backlogs currently are, maybe getting some voting in there. So doing some polls. We may talking about Patreon, give first access to those, maybe give you a little bit more weight on that discussion and that selection before we open it to the public. So, but yeah, but the main thing, get us on social media, take a look, 321 backlog.
Yeah. If you enjoy the podcast, we want you want your friends to enjoy it
course.
too. Your friends and your family. Get your mom involved. You haven't talked to her in a while.
And
get
and for Dale Kingsmill, email this to your grandma. All right. So
wow. Yeah. Okay.
there's another YouTuber. Anyway, what else? Oh, there was one other thing. We have a new little piece of art that has come our way. So
this is cool.
Pretty
This
excited
is
about
cool
this.
shit.
So we're going to be by the time this airs, we will have posted this, but I'm probably schedule it to come out a little bit closer to when this airs. But we just got a brand new logo, and we're really, really excited
Dude,
about it.
I am. Yeah. Dude, this was what an experience, man, getting all this going.
It's been so interesting,
Right?
kind of doing this stuff. I have a little side hustle for not, I've got a little business of my own doing like 3D prints and stuff. So I've done a little bit of like the business admin side, very, very minimal, and for that I use some like AI generator to make a logo and all that. And then we did the same thing for the podcast, and it looked really nice up front because we were very, very excited to get going and put ourselves out there. And it was really, it was a scary thing, right? And
Yeah.
we really like our current logo, but it's an AI generator that didn't have, a person's touch. So
It has about as much appeal as
pretty
AI
much
generated art
so we
does.
wanted to start like scaling this up, maybe get some merch, some logos going on that merch, and kind of get it to look a little bit more professional. So
Right.
I do want to shout out, we did use Fiverr to try and coordinate with a couple artists. We had some hits and some misses, but we ended up working with Studio A West on Fiverr. Go check them out. They did really good work for us. So take a look there if you're in the market for a logo yourself. They do a pretty good job. So yeah, take a look. We're gonna have that posted on all of our socials, and yeah, it's we're pretty excited about it.
This is very rudimentary, but we were working on maybe changing the intro a little bit. I like our intro a lot, but I know you've been kind of
That's
looking at
right. That's
redoing that.
right.
That might take a little
I forgot
while,
about that.
but we're just trying to do a little bit of a
Yeah, no,
rebrand
and not
here.
so much a rebrand. We wanted to sound better, right? The audio experience is
Yeah,
very
this is
important for a podcast, you know.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's we have put in so much money into this.
With our $25 microphones, and
Dude, these microphones
they
sound
really
pretty
do.
good for $25. If you compare them to just a ghetto headset, this is pretty good. I don't know,
Yeah,
it
they
blows
do
me
sound
away,
pretty
dude.
good. Yeah, I completely forgot about the intro. So
Yeah.
for those listening, when
Yeah.
the voice saying 3, 2, 1 backlog is just me trying to make it sound as deep as I can, and then going into this like voice modulator and trying to like lower it even further, and it sounded all right in the moment.
Great.
But now every time I'm editing these, it's sounding a little more funky. So we want to get it looking like,
I
sounding a little
want
bit better.
to yeah. Just off the record, but on the record, I want to give it a try too. I want to
Yeah.
try and do a couple. Yeah, dude. I
Well,
think
now that I've played around with Audacity,
yeah.
I think I could probably use us and make it sound all right now that I've been messing with some of those tools.
Yeah.
But we've got, what would be kind of cool if we had like a little bit of an echo going on,
Yeah. Two
or maybe
mics.
multiple voices going on, so we could both record it and try and get it on the same cadence as
Okay.
the other gentleman we worked on
Yeah.
Fiverr, or we worked with on Fiverr, and maybe you could
Worked
have
on
like
with Fiverr, but yeah.
a multi voice track to
Yeah.
you know
Sank it up.
also call out to we did have it earlier on, but right now it's just on our show notes. But we've our intro and outro music is the same part of the same song. It's Lift Off by Amy Waters. Check them out on Bandcamp, amywaters.bandcamp.com. They have a ton of great music, and it for me it hit right on the sweet spot of
Yeah,
what
it really
we were
fit.
wanting to. And the name of the song is Lift Off, so it kind of worked with 3, 2, 1 backlog.
How convenient. A lot of the time when I listen back to our own episodes, the end goes through or whatever, and we hear like the outro music, and I'm just like, fuck, it's so
It
good.
gets me fired up again.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like, yeah, dude, I don't know. I think it really did turn out to be like the perfect
Did we
intro and
ever
outro
did
music.
to circle back? I feel like you and me have kind of talked about this, but I don't know if we ever said it on the recording. Have we kind of talked about why we are 3, 2, 1 backlog? I forget if we talked about that.
I don't know. We could. I mean, it's a
We
subject to
might have on the
discuss.
intro, so if we did, we're gonna say it again.
Just hit that
So
skip button a couple times. No one ever
yeah,
does, but just go
I
ahead and
think there's like
fast forward a little
a
bit.
plus 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So James and I are from the nice quaint little city of Melbourne, Florida. I mean, that's not too much info, right?
No, it's fine.
That should be fine. And their area code is 321 for the NASA Center, which is right down the road.
Yep.
And for 3, 2, 1 blast off. So we're from that area. We wanted to represent with 3, 2, 1. We're doing a show about a backlog, and a backlog's like a list. So we're counting down this list of ours. That is our backlog. So now you have 3, 2, 1 backlog, and it's been. I think when I'm hearing it, because I have that in my head, it doesn't feel like it's just a set of numbers. It's just I don't know. I really like it, and it really hits home with me.
Yeah, it was a good. It beat my immediate suggestion.
Well, oh man, do I have any of those examples still?
For what we thought about doing.
I think I got rid of them. What were some of them? We had
The original one was
the
Backlog
Boys. We had the Backlog Boys. We had.
I still
Oh
want to find a
goodness.
way to work that in somewhere. I like that. I still like that, but it doesn't allow for very much.
I think it was so generic. I had found when we were doing some of our research for other shows and making sure we're not ripping off somebody's name. I think I found a variation of Backlog Boys multiple times.
Yeah, I mean it's almost too good, right? It's I feel like it's something people would think of. It also excludes
How
women
are you going to spell
somehow.
boys?
BOIS.
BOY?
BOIS.
BOI, there it is. Boys. Oh man.
You know, B as
So
in boy, O as in possum, I.
oh Lord. Looking ahead and looking ahead to our spooky season, we
Mm.
are right around the corner from October. We want to get
Ooh.
we want to get the spooky vibes going for the whole month of October. So we started teasing up what games would be on our list last episode. We're going to be mixing up the order of them a little bit and
Yeah,
giving you the third game that we'll be playing for the entire month of October. So
it's a little treat for you
for
trick or treaters.
yeah, so for each one of these, if you want to play along with us, this is your homework to get yourself ready to go. Up first is going to be Devil May Cry. Was it DMC Devil May Cry?
That's correct. Yeah, you have to specify because it's a nightmare in naming.
It's a
That's the
specifically
scariest part is how they named it.
so DMC Devil May Cry
Yep.
is going to be our first one,
Cool.
which will be which will be scheduled for October 2nd. Following that, we are going to be playing We Happy Few on October 16th, and then and then we're going to end it with Little Nightmares. And if you're up to it, I am recommending, because I've played a little bit of it so far and I'm going to finish it for spooky season. I think you should play some of the DLCs for that because they do something pretty interesting with their
Okay.
storylines and their DLCs,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
I kind of appreciated. So that's the plan for the bulk of October. We're going to do DMC, Devil May Cry, We Happy Few, and Little Nightmares, the first one with the DLC content. So if you want to play along for that, go ahead and add that as well. So, and I think we're going to go ahead from there and sign out.
Yep, that sounds good. I just sincerely want to thank anybody that's been listening to this for your support. It's been appreciated.
It's been really awesome. We get to see some of the analytics come through, and we can see that there are people all across the globe. We'll see them pop in every now and then, kind of listening to an episode here and there. So it's been pretty interesting to see that coming through. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.